Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I bring you my guide to Thai names and honorifics for the casual BL fan. So today I'm going to be explaining Thai surnames, first names and nicknames, as well as some commonly used Thai honorifics such as Kun, Pi Nong, Lung Pa, Hie Jae, and E and I. Of course, you don't need to be a BL fan to understand what I'm explaining today, but I will be using some examples from BL and also in my real life to help explain. Okay, let's start with Thai surnames. So, I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen your favorite actor's Thai surname and thought, damn, that's a long ass name. There's kind of a reason for this, but to explain, we need just a tiny history lesson. So the whole surname and family registry system wasn't adopted in Thailand until the early 1900s. And up until that point, people only had first names and nicknames. So most surnames or family names in Thailand have been around for only 3 to 4 or sometimes 5 generations. The reason that they're so long is to make sure that they're all different, because in Thailand, unless you're blood related, you're actually not allowed to have the same family name as another family. And by keeping them really long, you can have more variation in surnames. It's a lot different from Western culture or even Japanese culture, for example. You can meet someone in the same country as you or even from another country and they might have the same surname as you, but obviously you're not related. But in Thailand, if you ever come across someone with the same surname as you, you're most likely related. Another reason why Thai families that aren't related aren't allowed to have the same surnames is because they also work as social identifiers. So for example, families from royalty, rich families or families in power, you can actually identify them or their children just by their surnames. Now moving on to first names. So just like most countries all around the world, our first names are chosen by our parents. Or because Thai culture is very auspicious, sometimes parents will go and consult a monk and get the monk to design a new name for their child or pick one that already exists that they think will bring the child like good luck in their future in their life. But one thing that's different about Thai first names that's a little bit different to Western culture is that all Thai first names have meaning. So even in Western culture, even though a lot of our names have meaning, we don't actually know what our name means. So it was actually kind of funny when I first moved to Thailand, I would introduce myself to my friends at university and say like, hi, my name is Stuart. And then they would be like, oh, Stuart, that's a nice name. What does that mean? And I was like, Google. So then I had to Google my name, look up what it meant. And so I was like, it comes from the word steward, which means butler. But obviously my parents didn't think of that meaning when they chose that name for me. They just chose it for me because they like the way it sounds. But in Thai culture, all first names have meaning. So if you ask someone what their name means, they can most likely tell you. For example, a really common name for boys in Thailand is Somchai. And Somchai means like the man who is worthy. Now let's move on to nicknames. So like I said before surnames were introduced, Thai people only had first names and nicknames, and in general, they were just called by their nicknames, which is still something really prevalent today. So even though people have surnames are mostly just used when you're signing like official documents or your name pops up in the credits of a TV series or something like that. And it's actually pretty common for friends to not know each other's surnames at all. And in some cases, some friends don't even know each other's first names because they just call each other by their nicknames. In some cases, parents choose nicknames based on the baby's physical appearance. For example, if the baby is born and he's kind of chubby, it's not uncommon in Thai for that baby to be called Uwan, which means fat, or Uwap, which means chubby. So I know this sounds really strange in English if you translate it directly and someone's name is fat or chubby, but in Thai, it actually sounds really normal. Or in some cases, parents just pick totally random words from English or other languages that they like. So having lived in Thailand for a long time, I've come across a fair share of strange nicknames, I would say. For example, things like Oreo, ice cream, Porsche, Rolex. If people like the sound of it, then you can pretty much use anything. A really common guy's name in Thailand is Bank, like the bank where you go and keep your money. Now, the reason why people might choose Bang is because that's where you keep your money, and they think that if they name their child Bang, it's going to make them wealthy or come across money in the future. So I know this sounds pretty strange, especially for native English speakers, but in Thai, there's really no set rules. If you like the sound of something, you can pretty much just take it and make it your nickname. So in Thailand, sometimes people do occasionally change their nicknames if they want to kind of start anew in life. Because your nickname isn't actually recorded on any official documents, it's really easy. You just go and tell all your friends, hey, my name's this now. Now let's move on to Thai honorifics. So for those of you guys who don't know, honorifics are the things that come up before someone's name in Thai. And these are usually used depending on someone's age, gender, or a combination of both. Now, the first one we're going to be discussing today is kun. If you translate it into English, means something kind of like Mr., Mrs. or Miss. It's a very formal and respectful way to address someone. And the honorific kun is also gender neutral and age free. So you can be any age and still use kun. It's usually used in business settings. Like for example, if you're a guest at a hotel, then they will call you kun and then your first name. Or if you're in a business meeting, you usually refer to each other by kun and first name. But in some cases, some couples actually like to take kun and use it as a kind of pet name to address each other. So let's take a look at this example.
ผมว่ามันคงเสียแล้วนะคุณฉีดขนาดเนี้ยเดี๋ยวน้องก็จมน้ำตายหรอกคุณ
So you can see here that the main characters tend to refer to each other as kun as opposed to things like pi and nong. The reason they might use kun to address each other is because it's a nice age-free, gender-free honorific that they can use. In my personal experience, I've never really come across any couples that use it, but the ones that I have, it kind of sounds cute when they use it. So if you're a couple and you want to use kun to address each other, then go right ahead. Now, the next honorific we're going to be talking about, which I'm sure you guys have heard a million times, is pi and nong. So pi is used to refer to people who are older than you, and nong is for people who are younger than you. And both of these honorifics are gender neutral. So in Thai culture, age is something that's quite important. We respect people who are older than us. And that's because people who are older tend to have more wisdom and also more life experience. So if you meet someone older than you, it's polite to call them pi plus their name. But of course, there are exceptions. Sometimes people actually don't like you to call them pi because it makes them sound older and they don't really like that age distinction. This is an example from my real life. Recently, I just shot a TV series called Cutie Pie. I actually play a pretty charismatic and, dare I say, sexy bartender named Gemini. If you guys want to check it out, you can go and watch it for free on the Monday YouTube channel. So in this series, I act with another actor called Z. And Z is actually, I think, 2 years older than me in real life. When we first met, I just asked him, should I call you PZ? And he was like, no, just call me Z. And I was like, no worries. So in this case, because like we're only 2 years apart, he feels like it's not necessary for me to call him P, and he wants us to be kind of like on the same level. But as a general rule, if someone's older than you, then we usually call them P. If you're not sure whether you should call someone P or not, the best way to find out is to just ask them. Moving on to Nong. Nong has very young and kind of cute connotations to it. So usually after you get past the age of kind of 15 and above, if you're talking to someone who's just a few years younger than you, then you don't usually use Nong to refer to them, you just call them by their name. But if the person you're talking to or about is a really small child, or there's a quite large age gap, so for example, if mothers are talking about their children, or even if grandmas are still talking about their kids, whether they be 50 or 60 years old, they might still call them Nong. So in this example from my engineer, King's older sister refers to Ram as Nong Ram. Now this is because she's quite a lot older than them, and also Ram is her younger brother's friend. So if you look at it from the sister's point of view, he's kind of like her little brother and they're a lot younger than her. She's already a mum. That's why she refers to him as Nong Ram. And it also makes it sound a little bit cuter and more endearing. My favorite thing about the honorifics P and Nong is that you can actually use them to call people if you don't know what their name is. So for example, in English, when you want to get someone's attention but you don't know what their name is, usually say like, excuse me, or hey you, or something like that. But in Thailand, you can use P and Nong. So in Thailand, you might be wondering, how do you know if someone's older than you or younger than you? Well, you literally just look at their face. So in Thailand, like most Asian cultures, it's kind of rude to just straight up ask someone's age if you're not close with them. So Thai people just look at their faces and make an estimate. The next honorifics are here and there. So the words here and there actually are loan words from a dialect of Chinese known as Teochew in Thai. So there are actually a lot of families in Thailand who have Chinese ancestors who immigrated to Thailand hundreds of years ago. So a lot of those families have adopted and still carried on Chinese traditions, such as the use of words in the household till this very day. So the honorific here literally means older brother. So it's used to refer to males who are older than you. And the word Dare literally means older sister and is used to refer to females who are older than you. But the big difference between here and dare is it's only used to refer to people who are of Chinese descent or at least look like they're of Chinese descent. How do you know if someone's of Chinese descent? Well, you might have guessed there's a bit of a recurring theme here, but you just kind of look at their face. It might be a little bit harder for Western people to kind of discern whether someone has like Chinese ancestry or not, but for especially people living in Asia or Thai people, they can tell pretty accurately straight away by looking at someone's face whether they might have some Chinese ancestors or not. Let's have a look at an example.
และผู้ชายที่ยืนอยู่ข้างหน้าผมตอนนี้เชี่ยเหรียญกิเลนหวังเขาคือคู่มั่นของผม
So in this example, the main character's name is Hia Lian. So Hia is not actually his name. His name is Lian, but here is the honorific that comes before his name. So Lian's full name in the series is Lian Gilen Wang. So for Thai people, they can recognize straight away that that's actually a Chinese name. So that's why he's referred to as Hia instead of P. Also, just a side note, you need to be careful with the pronunciation of the word here. It's just a neutral tone, here. Because if you get the pronunciation wrong and you accidentally say the word here, it's actually really rude. It's kind of like the equivalent of the F word in Thai, so make sure you're careful with your pronunciation. Let's take a look at one more example.
ว่าไงเอ้าเจ๊
So in this case, King refers to his older sister as Dare, so this implies that King's family comes from Chinese ancestry. The next honorifics are Lung and Ba. Lung means uncle and Ba means auntie. Lung is used to refer to males who are around 50 years and older, and likewise Ba is used to refer to females who are around 50 years and older. So just like a lot of Asian cultures, even if someone isn't your blood relative, if someone is male or female and they kind of meet that age range, we just call them uncle or auntie. But you want to be really careful with using these words because sometimes, especially the women, they don't want to be called Ba because it makes them sound really old. If you're wondering, how do I tell how old they are? You just got to use your eyes and look. If you're worried about calling someone Lung or Ba, you can just use P instead. It's safe. So let's take a look at an example.
เฮ้ยลุงจอดก่อนซีเต็มลุงอะไรลุงเอาช็อกชิปแท่งหนึ่งครับ
So in this example, when Peking is chasing after the ice cream truck, he calls Lung, Lung. So you can see that this guy is probably like over 50, maybe over 60, so it's totally safe to call him Lung. If Peking called him P, there's totally nothing wrong with it, but culturally it sounds more natural if you call him Lung. Now the final honorifics I'm going to be explaining today are E and I. So these two honorifics, if you can really call them that, are actually quite rude. So the word I is used for guys and the word E is used for girls. So when you put these before somebody's name, it makes it sound really rude and very confrontational. But when these are used amongst friends, they can kind of be used as terms of endearment. So similar to Western culture, I know that in Australian culture and also British culture, sometimes we use not the most flattering words to refer to our friends. It's kind of like a sign of how close we are. And it's kind of similar in Thai, so let's take a look at an example.
ไอ้เกื้อมึงมันทำอะไรวะ
So in this example, my character, Gemini, he refers to Gua as I Gua. So this isn't because he's mad at him or anything, they're actually really close friends. And this is because it's actually a sign of their friendship and how close they are. If you call a stranger that or someone you're not close to, it's definitely not a good idea. So if you're going to use these words when talking to friends, make sure you're really close with them first. If you're not sure, I would probably not recommend using them. Thank you very much for watching today's video. I hope you found it fun and also educational. If there are any other topics you'd like me to cover about the Thai language or Thai culture in future videos, please leave me a comment down below and I'll see you in the next video. See ya!